Good afternoon, everyone. Laura said how much she enjoys the recorded messages and recorded translations, and so here we are. Potentior tamen vis erat. However, we'll start off with that. Tamen, however, I'll make this red, tamen, however, his violence, for vis there, however, his violence was potentior, Laura, was comparative, was more powerful than the will than the will of his father, out, or his verecundia, or his respect of aetatis genitive of age. Expulso fratre, with his brother having been expelled. Having expelled his brother, abs of absolute, you will recognise that hopefully now. Amulias, regnat, amulias, reigned. Now, even though that's present tense, we would almost call that the historic present, so we would actually make it the perfect tense. It sounds better, and they expect you to do that in the VCE. Addit scelus, he added crime to crime. He enteremit, he murdered the sons of his brother. And he legit, and he made his filiam, his daughter, Rea Silvia, a vestal virgin, nay, in order that she had no hope of childbirth. Sed nec di, but neither gods nor men servant saved either herself or her children or her sons a crudelitate, from cruelty. Rea Silvia was handed over, I'm still making this the past tense because it sounds better, dative, to the guards. The king ordered the children to be deiki, to be thrown, present passive infinitive. Josh, you were asking about those. The king ordered, no indirect commands for the verb jubeo, I order, the king ordered the children to be hurled or thrown into the river. By chance, Tiberis, by chance, the river Tiber, Ephusus, by chance, the river Tiber, having overflowed its, or having flowed over, but having overflowed its ripas, its banks, was able, or was not able to adire, to go further. Literally was not able to go onwards, was not able to go further. Ita serva, in this way the slaves, as if defuncti, as if obeying or carrying out the order of the king, exponent, put down the children in the nearest marsh area for Alleluia. Cum, when, so here we have to find a nominative, subject, verb, object. So when the tenuis aqua, when the gentle, or the, let's say the shallow, for here tenuis, I think does it say shallow? Here is shallow. So when the shallow water deposuiset, pluperfect subjunctive temporal clause, had placed, so when the shallow water had placed or set down the fluitantem, present participle, the floating basket, in quo, in which, pueri, the children, the boys, expositieran, pluperfect passive, had been placed into, so when the shallow water had set down the floating basket in which the children had been placed onto sico loco, onto dry land, comma, a she-wolf, lupa, remember me telling you about the lupa and the lupa, the difference between a she-wolf and a lupa, which is a prostitute, maybe where the story comes from. A she-wolf is said, present passive, is said to have turned, flexisse, so is said, so the she-wolf turned is a direct statement. A she-wolf is said to have turned. You'll notice there, following a verb of saying or thinking, we call this the indirect statement. Follows verbs of saying or thinking, it's an accusative infinitive. A she-wolf is said to have turned away, to have turned her course, away from the mountains, which were surrounding, towards the wailing or the crying of the children. Quae. She, we call this connecting relative pronoun, connecting to the subject of the previous sentence. She offered her teats adeo so gently to the children that a shepherd by the name of Fautulus inveneret, adeo plus the subjunctive perfect here, we call this a result clause, you haven't properly met that yet, that he found he found the boys, pueros, lambentem, present participle, licking her with lingua, with their tongues. And he literally gave them, having been brought home, to his wife to be educated. But then we would say in better English, having brought the children home. Notice there, it's the object, perfect passive participle, relatos, it's the object of the dedirect, so it can't be ablative absolute, it can't be with them having been brought home, he gave them to his wife, because it's not, because it would be accusative, because it's the object of there, so it can't be ablative, it's not separate. So he gave them, having been brought home, or having brought them home, he gave them to his wife, that they, and this is called a gerundive, that they, and it's a passive verbal adjective, literally, for them to be educated. So imagine it being a passive verbal adjective, for them to be educandos, agreeing with the boys, for them to be educated. Well done, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.